call this meeting in order.
Alderman Bamman. Alderman Coleman.
Here.
Alderman Headley.
Here.
Alderman Stratton.
Here.
Alderman Totten. Here. Alderman West. Here. We have a quorum.
Next item, the invocation led by Alderman Jeff Coleman, followed by Pledge of Allegiance from Alderman Totten.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight and to share our thoughts. We ask that you would be with us, that you would provide leadership for all of us here, and also be with our first responders that protect us, that you would protect them as well. Please give us guidance in your direction. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next item is the approval of the agenda.
I just have one change, Mr. Mayor. Bill number B-1810 is on for a second read tonight. That's an ordinance approving the final plat of Woodbury 6th plat. We're going to pull that off this evening. We are still waiting on some final engineering plans from the developer. I would expect to see this back on for a second read on the July 9th board meeting.
Okay. That's the only change then?
Yes, sir, Mr.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion then to amend the agenda to remove Bill 18-10.
So moved.
First, motion made by Alderman Totten.
Yes.
Do I have a second? Second, Alderman Stratton. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, agenda is amended. Next item on the agenda is the proclamation for Grand Valley Police K-9 Jacks.
Good boy. He's a very good dog, but I wouldn't suggest petting him.
Whereas during the period of 2010 through 2018, Sergeant Scott Hedger and Police K-9 Jack have been partners with the Grand Valley Police Department. And whereas during his career, K-9 Jack performed continuous service to the city of Grand Valley and surrounding communities, which contributed to the safety of police personnel in the community. And whereas during the career of K-9 Jack, he and Sergeant Hedger handled 480 requests for narcotics detection, sniffing, which resulted in 186 narcotics seizures and filing 24 felony cases and 40 searches for criminals, resulting in 16 criminals located and arrested. And whereas during the career of K-9 Jack, he and Sergeant Hedger have conducted 80 drug sniffs at the request of school district personnel and conducted 95 public demonstrations of the K-9 capabilities. And whereas K-9 Jack is now being retired from police service due to his age, now therefore be it proclaimed that the City of Grand Valley Board of Aldermen and I, Mayor Mike Todd, acknowledge the outstanding service of K-9 Jack and Sergeant Scott Hedger, and welcome the newest member of the Grand Valley Police Department, K-9 Axel, who is Sergeant Hedger's new partner. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the city to be affixed this 25th day of June, 2018, in the city of Grand Valley, Missouri.
Oh, nice. Oh, boy.
All right.
Oh.
Pound of dope.
So we gotta do the picture with
Oh.
the mayor.
I don't know if those Mayor
And,
Thompson
he's here. Chief Bill, can you please protect the mayor? Come on, he's got it. Thank you. Wait, one more. All right, everybody happy?
All right.
Can you open it for me?
Oh, boy. All right.
That's the right one? So happy.
He won't get it.
Oh my gosh, you almost lost me. Wow. Oh, look at the tongue hanging out.
Congrats, Scott.
Oh, congratulations, Scott.
Jax, that's good.
Oh, wait. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is citizen participation. We ask the citizens who wish to address the board come forward to the podium and microphone, and please give your name and address for the record. Okay. Do we have any citizens who wish to address the board this evening?
I'm Rose McLaughlin, 111 Broadway Street, Grand Island.
Can you tell me your name?
Hi, Henry.
I'm Henley Chambers.
Henry Chambers.
That's right. Can you hear me?
Gabriella Blue Chambers.
I'm Autumn Marine Chambers.
Robert Chambers.
Okay. Well, we're here to respectfully request the board to consider not issuing the 3 o'clock bar license for Charlie's Roadhouse. There are 2 outstanding court cases that haven't been settled yet. We have petitions from the people that live along Broadway Street about the noise. In the last 2 weeks, they've increased their noise. They're leaving their doors open way into the night until wee morning hours. They're parking in the back on the grass, so we would like to just ask you to see, not issue that license. They're also awfully close to the school now. And I know that you can't do anything about that because it's grandfathered in or something. But anyway, we would really like you to reconsider issuing that license.
Yeah, it's pretty much, I mean, I think we kind of all have the same things. I think there's a misconception that, like, we dislike bikers. My father has known a couple motorcycles, so we actually love bikers in my family. That's the problem here. The problem is, the music has gotten better, but now there's, like, loud yelling, cursing. There are now cars parked in the back again. The school is less than 1,000 feet, which I don't quite understand it being grandfathered in if it's a different owner. I would think that if it's a different owner is applying for a license, that should make a difference. There's a dog running around the premises now, unleashed. A lot. I have video and pictures. which is coming up to my back fence and bothering my dogs now, which, you know, the food establishment as well. The garage door, the back garage door, and then the other doors are staying open, clear up until 3 a.m. sometimes. If the garage isn't open, then both of the other doors are open, which still projects the sound off the back of my house. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but they're almost $5,000 behind on their taxes from 2016, and that's on MissouriState.net. Jump higher. That's just from 2016. I personally tried to call and be neighborly. Every time I got to Chad, he would call, he turned around, he takes care of it. The problem is that he's not there, because he has a daytime job. So it's not fully his problem, but if he's unable to be there, you know, to the 3 a.m. thing, then he can't watch these people and what they're doing. There are state laws regarding nuisance things, including cursing and other, yeah. I have pictures of her Thursday from 12:20 waking up crying because she can't sleep. Every time I'm by the back of the fence, I get called B-word. Every time. If somebody notices I'm back there, it's, hey, you know, that kind of thing. When I have spoken to her before and told everybody to be quiet, she said, hey, the bee called, we gotta go inside now. And I mean, like, you know, what if it was these two playing back there? They don't need to be called bees on the other side of the fence.
What time are they doing that?
Anytime. If I'm up against the fence and they think that we're snooping or whatever, then it's always a female. Sometimes it's a different one, it's a female voice, but
It's all different times, late night.
Well, they're not up at late night, I'd hope.
Oh, we're awake at late night because the
Have
kids
there,
get woken up.
have you guys had to call the police out anymore since, I guess, the last time we met?
we
Like
filed, yeah, the three of us.
So there's two open cases now.
And then, this is my husband, that you guys have heard of, and me,
I get up at, 4:15 in the morning, and, you know, that's an hour after they close down the bar. It's really hard for me to get any sleep. And, you know, it keeps our girls up, you know. If they close at, midnight, or 10 o'clock, it'd be a lot better. It's still at 3 a.m. And then since they added that garage door, the noise has increased a lot.
Matt, did you want to, I know you and I had talked a little bit, you know, because I had talked to him about the concerns with the school proximity, and can you kind of talk about that a little bit, what?
Sure. The city ordinance is 300 feet from the school. It's not 1,000 feet. So, our city ordinance says 300. Yeah.
For the, specifically the 3 a.m. license?
I'm not sure
I think
about that.
specifically for the 3 a.m. license, it's 1,000 feet. The rest are 300.
But the state ordinance, or the state statutes only allow up to 300 feet, or, so that's, and, you know, and I don't know, I looked at it briefly, I didn't go out there with a roller to see how far it is, but from the door to door, I think it's farther than 1,000 feet anyway.
Well,
So,
if that's the state,
no.
you're talking Missouri State, you said state.
The state laws discuss, that 100 feet, and then by city ordinance, a city can't expand that to 300, is what the state law says.
What we found on the government website from this city is 1,000 feet, and then GIS, person is a surveyor, it's less than 1,000 feet.
I mean, and I haven't looked into, you know, I know you said they were grandfathered, we haven't looked into that, because there's been a bar there for a long time. Just because the fact that the owner changes, you know, when a property's when say a property's grandfathered in, that's a right that stays with the property and not with the particular owner. So just in general, it doesn't matter whether the owner changes, it matters whether the use changes or not. And here, there's been a bar there for a long period of time.
Back door's only been there for 2 years.
It doesn't specify 3 o'clock or,
Yeah,
it just says 300 feet on there.
that's what I thought.
Let me double check. And then, I guess have they met all requirements that we have, so
Mhm.
forth?
I have all their paperwork, and, before Chief Starbuck retired, he did sign off on the application from his
Okay.
perspective.
So, and you're,
Well, yeah, I mean, there are current court cases that are pending in municipal court. It's my understanding as well that, certainly would affect the status of the license, just as the revocation hearing, that was held a couple months ago. The results of that, as well will affect the status of the license. But, those are different issues than just the renewal of the license, which is on the agenda for tonight.
okay.
And I'd just like to remind you, I do have, we did a survey of the neighbors just along Broadway Street, and you have copies of that, so we're not just the only ones complaining. Okay?
Yep, thank you.
And as far as the taxes go,
There's certain qualifications they have to meet to get the license to be sales tax, I believe, right?
Yeah, that would be more on the business license. I mean, there
Yeah,
has to be a,
Because they have to have their sales tax up to date in order to get a business license. So I don't know
But
what
for-
taxes it is.
it's only, it's not that, so, I mean, the state is.
and it would depend what kind of taxes it was.
State income tax.
And take that information into consideration.
And then, and since they received the license, everything has come back. All cars are back on its end, dogs are around, multiple things, which is pretty much what we expected, noise from that.
All right, thank you. Anyone else want to address the board?
Since we had the meeting where we aired all this out and we discussed everything, we haven't had any police calls to the property at all. In fact, several months before that meeting, we hadn't had any calls since then. It was the March 15th call was the last one. And, so we haven't had any police calls or any problems. I mean, it seems like every time they lose a court case or they don't get us in trouble for some, we're not reprimanded to their standard or degree, that they just seem to push the accelerator down and harass us even more. They're not telling you the truth about yelling or noise or anything like that. We have completely shut down the bar at 10 o'clock, closed the doors. The jukebox is has a maximum level now to where it can't even, with the doors completely open, it can't even possibly permeate their house or disturb them in any way. And so everything she's asked us to do, we've done. And what's happened now is that it's never going to be good enough for her. And so we're in this situation where, she just keeps harassing us for no reason. And she's willing to come up here and lie in front of you guys. And I can't do anything about that. I'm sorry that you guys have to deal with that too, but I wish it was different, but that's just where we're at. The taxes I paid.
When is, do you know off the top of your head when the pending court date is?
So I was on vacation when that court date was supposed to happen, and I didn't pick the date, so I had a continuance. And I wanted to get it out of the way. I mean, we haven't even had a conviction yet, so fairly confident we can go in there and work this out, but, now I believe it's continued till December.
Okay.
And I wasn't here in town during those discussions, I don't know why it was pushed out that long, but, that was the decision between the judge and the prosecutor that they didn't want to see this case until December.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Excuse me, I just have to say this because Mr. Reisinger accused us of being liars. I have on my phone from last Thursday, the doors were open way past midnight. I have a recording of the noise, so we're not lying about that. Harassing and lying and.
I also have video as well, and I would consider the name calling more of harassment than anything other than that.
Thank you.
So if you guys can see the video.
Okay. When it comes up for discussion, if they would like to see it, they can, I'll ask, they can ask for it.
Everything, dog, truck, time, all that stuff, yeah.
Okay.
And I have personally tried being able to call him and discuss it that way, which is why we haven't got the police report, because I thought we could work it out as neighbors. But it just keeps increasing. So then you go to the next level.
I think we just
Okay.
need.
Anyone else wish to address the board?
Debbie Jones, 306 Laura Court.
Derek Gatenby, 801 Stoneburg Avenue.
Sarah Johnson, 306 Laura Court.
Melissa Moline, 1407 Northwest Laura. I do appreciate that you guys have taken the time to hear us tonight. This has been an ongoing thing. I know Mayor Todd and I have been on Messenger talking to each other since 2016 regarding the property along the creek, and the spraying of the land. And the biggest thing that it concerns me about this is the fact that, you know, when they talked about the walkway and making it back to, you know, original and all this, the thing is, my land goes right into the creek, so there can't be a walk trail, there can't be a park, there can't be anything, yet they want to come in and kill everything that, I've lived there since the house was new, which was in 2004, and stupid us, listened to the builder, and the builder says, oh, the city's never gonna do anything with this, you know, da-da-da-da. So my husband and I spent a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in the property, making it nice, park-like. We have all kinds of cherry trees. The globe willow has already been killed by the spray, but we even listened to, back in 2016, somewhere right in there, when somebody came out and talked to us from Terra Technologies and said that if we would leave a certain portion alone, that they would leave us alone. So we did. We stopped mowing it. We let it grow up and nasty and gross. Drove me nuts, still does. But I left it alone, as we were at. Next thing I know, they come and they put these big stumps in the ground, which is right by the edge of the creek. And then they come out and they tell me that they are going to kill everything. I know it's not my land. That's not the point. I just don't want to see everything killed. Because we're not talking about just brush. This was stuff that, you know, I mean, now, one time I had a garden there, but I stopped because in 2016, when all this happened, I stopped growing the garden. But I mean, I have cherry trees, peach trees, plum trees, grapes. I mean, just, it's really, and it's park-like. I mean, we didn't put sod back there. We planted our whole yard with seed. We didn't want sod. We wanted to do our own thing. It's a beautiful yard, and it's very park-like. And I hate to see it killed, because the property right next to us, they've already sprayed, which they've done twice, which I still don't to this day understand. There has been absolutely no communication for any of the people that live by this creek. No communication. It's just, you have to deal with it, you have to live with it, it's our thing. And, no.
Well, here's the other thing too.
Go ahead, please.
it's been 4 years, and I'm the one that's been sending all the pictures in, and emails to many of you guys. It's been 4 years, and they've been doing nothing but spraying this field over and over and over again. It's drifting into my yard, killing some of my yard. And then the woods, which we used to go and walk in and do everything the city beautifully maintained, mowed all the woods, they're letting that grow up into wild overgrowth now. You can't even walk back through the creek without having a machete. So I don't get how we've been told the same thing for 4 years in a row, that they're just killing invasive species, killing invasive species, killing invasive species. How is it killing one little field right here gonna do any good when they're letting it completely be surrounded by the same vegetation they're trying to kill? That's like me going out to my yard and spraying an orange pattern around it and saying, hey, I don't want nothing to grow here, I don't want nothing to grow here, I don't want nothing to grow here, I don't want nothing to grow here. The second I get done doing that, it's gonna be in a matter of 2 months before everything's growing right back there again. It doesn't make any sense. So now I've got this big dead barren field that I'm looking at. I've got a forest that is completely overgrown. You can't even walk back there without getting, stick tight, poison ivy, everything. I can't take my kids back there anymore. There used to be wide trails back there that you could drive a car back through that the city maintained. That's no longer there. I used to mow from my yard through the field to those adjoining trails so that my kids, my wife babysit all of our nieces and nephews. We used to take all of our nieces and nephews and go down to the creek and swim and play and catch crawdads. You can't do that anymore. And it's 4 years now. This is absolutely disgusting. And on top of that, if they're so-called trying to restore this creek and trying to bring back the native species, why are they not in the ditches that are going to the creeks or down in the creek? I could take them there right now and show them piles of tires, broken sewage pipes, freaking microwaves, TVs, all kinds of crud just dumped in there. I've not seen one crew out there pulling that out at all. They're just back there spraying.
I just don't see anything for
They're not doing anything. If you go on their website and look at the Sniper project, it's a complete lie. You see all these pictures of this so-called Sniper project that's been completed in, 2008, 2009, I think what it says, and it's serene pictures with lily pads and deer running all over the place. It doesn't look like that at all. I mean, at all. I'm glad to walk that whole trail with anybody and show them. It is not how it looks like, and they're not doing anything. And I can't go back there and talk to them at all because it's, like I said, it's migrant workers. There's not even an English person, a speaking person that I can talk to and get answers to. And the only thing when we reach out to you guys is we feel like that's all the problem. It's the same thing over and over and over and over again. What they're doing is legal. They're trying to kill invasive species, and that's it. That's not good enough anymore. It's been 4 years.
Well,
we're done seeing this.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't want your land. If it's your land, that's fine, but just let the living stuff that's on there stay there instead of keep killing it, putting it into a snake fest, mosquito infested.
There's nothing back there to drink the water anymore. So these fields, when it rains, it turns into big swampy marshland now. There's no vegetation to suck that water. And the mosquitoes are out of control in my backyard. And I've been living in my house for 8 years now. I'm like, over half of it now has been a disgusting wasteland back there. And before that, it was not like it was beautiful. It was picturesque. You could go back there all the time. You could see kids flying kites back there. Riding bikes back there, exercising back there. I used to jog back there. When I was a little bit more in shape, but I can't even do that now. Nobody can do anything back there. It's just overgrown death. It's death in one spot and overgrown trash in the other spot. And the park is completely useless now. I mean, completely. The trails are no longer there. The promised trails that they said they're going to give us, they have not given us. So those trails are completely overgrown. And what you can see that's in front of you is nothing but death all summer long. Death. And it's a complete, let me just remind you too, they go back and kill rock back, and then they kill it like right before July 4th. It's a complete tinderbox back there too. So all the kids used to go back there and shoot firecrackers and everything in those fields. It's just a matter of time before you guys are going to have the firecrackers going out there putting out a major field fire. So I mean, I don't know. I want to see where this Terror Technologies or whatever the heck their name is, where are they at?
Swallowtail LLC.
I don't care if it's legal. I don't care. There's a difference between legalities and morals and ethics and what's right. And what they're doing is not right. It's not right. We've all seen what's been told what's been illegal. Flint, Michigan, the crack dealing, all this crap they tell us illegal all the time to these communities they've been broken by these devastating environmental crap they do. It's ridiculous. I don't care. I don't want to pull that anymore. I want to talk to somebody
and find out what the plan is, because this is not right.
Because there's been no communication
No
with our
communication.
government.
Well, it's the same answer over and over. They're killing the species, and they're gonna build a trail one day.
Now, I've been up to one neighborhood, and I thought it was supposed to be your house, no one was home. Do you have wrought iron from the front? That's where I,
Yes.
and
Because
I was there.
Well, I worked there today.
Okay.
If you don't call me or leave me a message, I mean, I have no way of knowing.
Well,
that.
I just was looking, and I saw the drop-off in that, but I didn't see much, I was at another, gentleman's neighborhood, and, it's hard to say he did have a right, because they had an orange line across with the, I guess, your rock thing. But, no, do me a favor and write down when you're home, and I will come by, because I do go out and check.
Thank you, thank you.
Because someone told me that nobody comes to see, but I do go see.
Not me, I mean, I said that, 'cause I haven't seen anybody back there.
I've been
That was
there.
in the email that I sent to everybody, I copied everybody out of the
I don't do
website.
emails.
I don't know, I don't see anybody back there, and I'm not getting answers from anybody in the city at all.
Well, I don't either.
Can we ask a simple question at this
Yes.
point in time? So why?
Why,
Why, like, we get these very vague answers that don't make sense. So we just wanna know why. If we can understand the why, then maybe we could walk away and say, okay,
Well,
that's
we
the
could see some
answer.
results, there's no
Yeah,
results
something, but
happening.
we
It's
don't know
all
why.
downhill, there's no results, none.
Bad results.
There's nothing, it's not accomplishing anything, it's death and overgrowth, the park is useless. You can't even walk back there anymore, it's useless.
Well, and where they're talking about pulling all my stuff off, or the stuff I planted, there's no way you can even put a park, because my property goes right into the creek.
right, it
I
does.
mean.
I saw that.
Yeah, so what?
Well, and like I said, you get on the website to look for answers, and it's nothing but lies on your website, go look at their website, have you seen the pictures?
I did want to point out that that actually is a mitigation bank that exists at Howell and Duncan Road, north of Green Valley. So the pictures that he has up for that project is
This
for
one's not.
a mitigation.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
definitely not over here.
No, it's not it's not the south one, I know that can be confusing.
And if they have
Mr.
to-
Mayor, if I can,
Yeah,
I
go
can,
ahead.
Come back with him.
I know you guys-
Bar up there?
Snyabar runs, yeah, that's a tributary to the Snyabar. Swiney Creek, contributes into, it's within the Snyabar watershed. So, I hear what you guys are saying. I can tell you the company that does this, they're the largest company in the region that does mitigation, banks and creates stream banks. Probably about 2010, I think we started, and this was before I was here, but we started looking at what Green Valley wanted, what some of the, the biggest wants from our citizens were, and I wish our Parks and Rec director was here this evening, but he's out on vacation. One of those things was trails, walking trails, recreational trails. And within about 2 or 3 years, Mr. Flick approached the city, which is who currently owns the property. And he wanted to know if the city would be interested in doing a project in partnership with him. We had some property that we were looking at purchasing right along there by the bank. You know, the old Gilda House property, the great big Rock Hill Nelson building at the top of Artie Mize and Buckner Tarzan. The city started looking at that because it was bank held, and we wanted to be able to do something with that property rather than continue to go downhill. So we purchased that. We purchased about 90 acres, and we traded 45 acres down by the creek to Mr. Flick in exchange for trail construction. We then partnered or conveyed the Cross Creek property, which is what you guys are here talking about tonight, over to him for the same purpose. He then went in and purchased all of the property from Winding Creek all the way to Buckner Tarzan along the Blue Branch. And the idea is, I hear what you're saying because it's ugly when they're dealing with it, and it's ugly when they're killing everything. But the idea is to drive out the native species. The seeds can stay in the ground for up to 5 years and regerminate. That's what I've been told. Now, I'm no expert. There's a reason that I'm a city administrator and not a biologist. But the process that they're going through is a process that's determined by the Corps of Engineers to be able to eradicate the native species, So that's the phase that you guys are seeing right now. They're also working on a document, which is the wetland instrument. And all of the money, the time that he's investing into that, has to be approved in by the Corps of Engineers. He has to be able to have stabilized stream banks so it doesn't continue to erode. He has to deal with flooding problems, invasive species. There's a long list of things. And if he's able to do that, then he's able to get these stream bank credits from the Corps of Engineers to sell to other, a developer who's destroyed wetlands somewhere else. I wish Mr. Flick was here tonight to talk to you guys because he's a specialist about it. But from the beginning, the city, we've been told from the contract signing was in, we started dealing with it in 2013, signed in 2014, and from the beginning they've said that it's a 3 to 5 year process to get the trails, the project to where we can actually construct the trails.
Well, with all due respect, I've heard that every single time. Where they're spraying, I can understand that they're trying to kill invasive species, but the spot that you guys usually take care of in the woods that I used to walk, which is almost as deep as the field that they're spraying on, it used to be mowed and well kept. Now it's just overgrown with the very same foliage they're killing not 2 feet from it. That doesn't make any sense at all.
It doesn't make sense.
And that's why I would like to speak with the representative from the company about it, because it makes no sense at all. There's poison ivy that's rampant back there, it's not used to be there.
Yeah.
There's thistles that's rampant back there, it's not used to be there. It's just rampant, and I can't walk back there with my kids no more. There's no trail system at all. It's completely overgrown.
To add to that, I'm Bruce Carlton from Cross Creek Drive.
Okay.
My kid, plus many of the children, his children, all play ball, go out there and play. They can't do it. It's a, it really is. Walking up, this, that, and the other. The chemicals burn in the cars.
But it's safe.
But it's safe.
But it's safe.
But
Remember that, it's safe.
they spray.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, I decided to walk the nose. You can smell it. It's in the dirt, everything.
Mm-hmm.
It burns your balls. We can't do it.
Yeah, you go past where they just burnt, and it's this tall growth that used to be mowed.
I mean, high school, we used to have track fields.
Yeah.
Track.
Yeah.
We used to run to there all the time, every year. Not anymore. Why? Because there's some burn it.
Yeah, I think probably the miscommunication there is that it's, in the transition, why he goes through and he does all of these improvements to it, it's no longer, it's not city property, it's privately held. And I've been told that he didn't want anybody to.
Communication from anybody. We get it, that land's not yours, it's not your responsibility.
Oh, no.
And who cares what Terra Technologies is doing with it in this regard? But why haven't we heard anything from anybody? They never got a note on their door, hey, let's not take your dog out there anymore.
Right.
Hey, this is gonna be happening, these people are gonna be out there. We got absolutely no communication.
We don't plant gardens, it's gonna be the.
Yeah, our spray's gonna drip into your yard 4 feet until all the grass right here.
We're the city that people complain about dandelions, but yet.
Yeah, we get coaches, court tickets, get tickets.
That's our frustration. Our frustration isn't what they're doing, so to speak, it's the communication, and we didn't get to say anything. That's our problem. We don't care about all the seeding and this, what they have to do. It's the communication from the city. No, residents weren't even given an input. We couldn't even say, hey, we don't want this, we don't.
We're all willing to be at the next meeting, with a park meeting, can we get her out here? Can that happen?
Absolutely, yeah. Trust me, I'd much rather him be here to answer these questions than me. Yeah.
Just 3 weeks ago, I mean.
You
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We keep
Oh.
saying trail, we keep saying park, and behind my house, there's no place. That they don't even do that.
Right, and maybe not specifically behind your specific parcel. He owns both sides of the creek, and so there's actually gonna be a pedestrian crossway. Yeah. I can't speak to, but what I was trying, the only point I was trying to make earlier is that it's been represented to me by Mr. Flick that he didn't want anybody trespassing onto the private property.
Maybe they need to put up a sign that.
And that very well could be. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of frustration about communication, you guys not hearing from
Because,
him.
I mean, it goes all the way to the high school. My kids walk that field to go to the high school, to go play on football fields.
Yeah.
They do all kinds of stuff. But
That's gonna park with their, I mean,
now,
I think it's entire life, that's been a
I get it.
now I gotta send my kids out that way to get down there.
And I
There's no sidewalk.
here's what we were trying to do, was we were trying to put in a linear trail system to Blue Branch. We knew it was gonna be inconvenient, but it's gonna save you guys $200,000. That's what we were trying to do. There wasn't any, there wasn't any.
They put trails everywhere in Missouri, and nowhere do they kill the land to put in a trail.
This is a way to get trails in exchange for the property. That's what we were trying to do.
I think we could have had a vote on, would you rather have $200,000 spent or have it
I know that $200,000. I mean, with all due respect, I would like to get a terrorist person out here, and we'd like to hold a dialogue with them and not you guys, because, no offense, it's the same answer.
That's because that's the information I've got. And I absolutely would encourage that. I've been told that Craig Gump, which is the project lead for that area down there, has spoke with the residents multiple times. So that's the communication that I've heard about. I didn't realize there was such a communication issue. I got an email that, I guess it must have been you that you sent to the elected body.
Yeah.
Mayor forwarded it to me. I reached out to David and didn't have time to accommodate that because I was out of the office. So part of that's my mistake. I didn't originally receive it, and then by the time I saw it, it was too late. But I'm happy to reach out to David and find out if we could get him in a sit-down. This is not what we want. This is not the type of community that we want. We don't want people upset at the city, and we're honestly trying to do what we think the right thing is, and you guys are being negatively impacted by it, and in turn think that we really don't care, and that's the last thing that I want our residents to feel like.
Mr. Young has already expressed that, the poison that they're putting down is approved, so.
And at one point, lead was fine.
And lead was fine, asbestos was fine, and,
If you're burning.
But if it's killing, well, if it can kill that much ground in that short amount of time, it's gotta do something to humans. It's got to, people. Common sense.
Well, and I do believe in it. Casey, maybe you can.
I was just looking to see, because I know we were tossing the dates back and forth with the next meeting.
Shannon is trying to get that lined up for David.
For David Blake to be there.
We'll be at the local time to be there.
I was just looking up the date to confirm. It's Tuesday, July 17th at 7 o'clock, generally at the community center.
My problem is I'm trying to say what ground I have right now, because they haven't sprayed yet. It's like they left my little plot of land. They did my neighbors because they didn't have anything planted. But because ours doesn't part right, then they haven't touched ours. And he even, Mr. Gump, said that he would, put this fence from post to post that they put down in the ground. He said he'd put that up first before they ever sprayed. But that was 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I know I'm running out of time. That's my issue and my problem, because I don't want to see this stuff killed. It's just for nothing, because you can't do anything behind my house to make it a park. You really can't. There's not enough there, and I can't wait to show you.
No, doesn't it go straight down and then go?
Well, there, but I'm talking about the high stuff, but because they told me if I just leave that part alone, they'd leave me alone. So right behind my shed, behind my shed, it comes up. I have trees, I have
Okay.
all kinds of cool stuff.
Because when I went out and I was looking, and I know one of your neighbors didn't get the, cleanup, called in for her pickup, and the young man was telling me they'd see to get it taken care of. But I had a gentleman drive me over there to see. So I don't think that somebody from this board wasn't there, because I was.
Okay, well, but the thing is, I know I provided my phone number.
I didn't have
So I
it.
know I provided it, not to mention, reaching out, any way, because I know Mayor Todd knows where I'm at.
So here, take that, and you call me, and I'll come out again, because, like I said, I thought she should have had a fence, because I'd be scared the kids would drop off that.
Well, thank goodness I'm old, and I don't have any little kids, and I don't keep track of all the grandkids.
Okay.
Because, my whole family lives in Green Valley, and I've lived in my house since it was new in 2004.
Okay.
And we really tried to make it nice.
No, it looked nice.
Thank you.
It did.
Yeah, can I get your names again one at a
I
time?
think she got 'em all
I
for-
have, let me go back up here. Debbie Jones, 306 Laura Court. Derek, what's your last name?
Gattenby, Gattenby.
And it was 801,
Stonebrook Drive.
all the further I got, so. Start here, yellow,
Sarah Johnson,
with an H or address?
306.
Laura Court, okay.
Chris Carlton, DARLTOS, 205 Southwest, Cross Creek Drive.
Melissa Moy, 1407 Northwest Willow.
Thank you.
So if Alderman Stratton was saying that we're currently trying to get, Mr. Flick at the next park board meeting.
I think so, that, I mean,
But Shannon had told me that previously, before I went on vacation, but I'm trying to find out a way. I don't know if it's best to, do you have emails and phone numbers?
I have her phone number right there.
Okay.
I have Derek, I do have your email.
I don't think I have him, Bill. Well, was yours on the email?
Yeah, I'm going to
He
email.
sent the email.
I got his,
to all
I
of
mean,
us, yeah.
if we email you back, can you let her, I mean, I can message Debbie if
I
I.
just wanna find out a way
Yeah.
to communicate to you to say, yeah, be here,
Phone number,
17.
email,
Yeah.
I'll do it all.
Okay.
Well, if you're emailing everybody else, call me because I don't do that stuff.
Okay.
So
So, yeah,
we'll
we'll
just, for lack of a better term, we'll just kinda make you the point man. I'll get in touch with you personally to make sure that, once we hear if Flick's gonna be there on the 17th, trust me, I can assure you there's gonna be some pressure for Terra Technologies to be, meeting with you folks pretty soon.
Then can you meet with Steve and call them in the meantime, if they kind of like back off of my little one part of it for 6 weeks?
Well, and I'm wondering, is there a way she can, like, barricade off her yard to keep them off of it? Is that okay for her to
I think the
do?
property she's talking about is actually Mr. Flick's property now.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
the
okay,
issue.
okay.
Yes,
So-
basically, yes, and behind the houses that go along the street there.
I-
And then my property line, goes right into the, so it's like, kind of serving a purpose.
Yeah.
Now, have they put the fence up behind you?
You want to know?
Have they put the fence up behind? Okay, they did down my end. I got the fence behind me.
Is that little blue thing, a little from?
No, I got about 200 foot that borders him, he put a fence up between my property and his, so.
Oh, how'd you get that?
It just showed up one day.
Really?
Yeah, I have no idea. It's like a chicken wire fence, I mean, I think it's to mark the property line, but they don't overspray or something, I don't know.
It's actually,
I thought they ran the whole width, because when it runs as far as I can see when I go down the both directions, so.
yeah.
But I'm down the other end though.
So, you have my word that I'll do whatever I can to make communication better. I can't force him to do things on his own property, but we can turn up the pressure and visit with him. And, I mean, I think this all boils down to communication in the very beginning, and I'll do whatever we can, and I know that the elected officials are committed to doing that, especially after hearing your voices tonight, so.
Well, I appreciate it, and yeah, insurance pressure on that's great, and we'll be, any there, ready to go for weeks and months.
Well, do any of you have the orange string to show the property lines? I know one bunch I went to look at.
I didn't see ours. I didn't have an orange tire around on the stone.
But it goes all the way back across your back? Oh, well, this,
And
okay.
they just wrapped a little orange ribbon around that.
They just spray right up my fence, and it goes into my yard.
Okay.
My fence runs the whole line of property, and they just spray right up to it.
Well, no, one place I was looking besides there had just, a string going across with, so that's what I was checking. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the board? Alright. Seeing none, move on to the consent agenda.
Mayor, I move that we accept the consent agenda.
Our motion is Alderman West to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Cotton. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Next item would be previous business. We have liquor license application approvals for Grand Valley Partnership, JY Amigos, and Del Tacolasa. I'll let you try to say it last time.
Mayor and members of the board, this is the, second approval for the new liquor license applications for those businesses that were just named. You'll remember at our last meeting, we discussed those previously. Since then, all paperwork has been received, the local background checks have been conducted, and, for JY Amigos, the fingerprints are in process right now, but, the local background checks have all been run on those, so.
Okay. I will entertain a motion then to approve those, 3 licenses. Motion from Alderman Totten. Do I have a second? Second, Alderman Headley. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right. Next item under previous business is Grand Valley City logo.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. I know that a few times we've visited about this topic. Alderman Coleman asked me to place it on the agenda a few meetings ago, but we had some back and forth. We finally got connected on it, so we're going to bring this to the board just for some preliminary discussion to find out if the group wants to move ahead with rebranding as well as logo changes. The options that we have, there was the original vendor that the school district used that came and presented to the board to show us the branding, rebranding that they did for them. We also have an alternative to go out and bid, unless there is something about that particular company that made it unique. One of the things that you would or could consider is the fact that they have local experience working with the school district. So the alternatives that we have to move on, though, is whether we want to go with that company, whether we want to put it out for a bid, so put out an RFP, request for proposals on how much the logo process would cost to rebrand Green Valley. And then there's 2 different options where we can do participate in regional purchasing cooperatives. Mid-America Regional Council has a cooperative purchasing group where they could go out and pre-bid contracts, and vendors become a selected low bidder or low and best. And then there's also another group called HGACBYI. I think it's the Houston Galveston Area Council, but it's for some odd reason that group is one of the premier government cooperatives in the nation that people lean on a lot for their groups. So I guess I've thrown several questions out all at once without getting any answers. So first and foremost, is there consensus to move forward with a bidding or presentation process with logos?
What was the budget amount for this?
I believe we budgeted $10,000.
$10,000 to do what?
To do the rebranding, so to pay a contractor to come in and rebrand, provide us all of the data files, the JPEGs, anything that we would need for a new logo moving forward. So that wouldn't include anything like business cards, shirts, decals on the side of vehicles, that sort of thing. We would probably follow a similar process as the school district does and just replace those as they need replaced. So when we got a new vehicle or we needed to place a new logo on a vehicle because of damage to it, we put the newer logo on there.
We've actually been talking about this now for several years with regards to that. And I personally would like to see some input from the community to see how important it is to the community as a whole. I think it should go to a vote of the community.
Oh, it would cost.
Personal feeling on that.
It would cost more to host an election than it would to rebrand. Unfortunately, it's about $15,000 to $17,000 for an election.
Was that even something we can put on a ballot since? Okay.
Their ballot's coming up.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
The matter. I mean, the government.
Kind of like the other things we ran into before. I don't know if that's even a ballot issue.
Fourth by state.
Unless you're a charter city, you can't do that. I don't think.
Yeah.
Utilize the Green Valley News in some way that has just started publishing?
Before we go into that, I want to interject something real quick, because there's a lot more to this than just what the community or what we here are looking at, because we actually, if you remember, had a site selector come down from Chicago, and she did a mock site selection for us. And she did that for multiple cities around us. And part of that was to just see how we performed when we did a site selection, if a company was coming here to look at us as an option for their company. When she got done with her report, one of the things that she stated, one of our weaknesses, which we performed extremely well, but the weakness that she found was the messaging between the city and our economic development and the schools, as it was confusing. And so the whole purpose of this logo and the rebranding was to try to come in line with the other two entities so that we can have a similar message that is going to the businesses that are looking at us from economic development. So this isn't just because to them, our messaging is outdated. The people that came out, I don't know if you recall also, they said that branding should be changed every 10 or 15 years, and we've had this particular brand for, I think, over 10 years now. So just remember that there's economic development and trying to bring the right companies here and having the right message to the people that are looking at us is why this is important.
The only thing I have to say is, do you know one thing I've been told by businesses is our reputation of not supporting Green Valley. And when they told me 40% was going to Price Choppers North, that basically is telling me the same thing. We as a town need to get more involved with each other. I'd like to see the heart of Green Valley stay the heart of Green Valley. But as we see, you don't see this many people at a meeting. And this is sad. And one thing I've noticed, if I go out and ask questions and I say, who's your alderman? Very few know who it is. And that's sad. You should know who you put into office and know you can call and open the door. So I'm sorry, we have to get a relationship between the people and us.
Ryan, have the people working on the survey aspect, have they finished everything on that they're going to send out?
I don't know, the surveys have not been sent out. I don't know where, that's something that we could try to add in.
That's what I'm wondering. We
I know
could
the
try
scopes,
to add.
yeah, the scope's already been developed. Worst case scenario, we could do some sort of addendum to the project and add questions about branding.
My question to that, and please, Yolanda, you know that I have the utmost respect for you, and I just don't see, we're here for a purpose, and that's to move the city forward. And this rebranding we've been told by a professional group that if we don't do something about our messaging, we're going to miss out on opportunities. And we have been, as to your point, Yolanda, we have been talking about this for a long time. If we keep kicking the can down the road, how many opportunities do we miss because we didn't do what we were instructed was one of our weaknesses to correct that? So,
in all fairness, I don't think we've lost any businesses because of our logo. I'm just,
well,
I mean,
we don't know.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't think it's cost us a business.
We don't know that yet. because we haven't had the opportunity for it.
He's saying we've been overlooked, most likely.
Possibly, yep. I'm not saying that we have, but certainly, when you have a renowned site selector that's telling us that we have a problem there, I would think that we would want to correct that problem.
I would say to that point that if Jan Addy came back and visited our website over almost 3 years later and saw that we still have the same branding, that would say a lot to her. I mean, it was her recommendation that we update branding.
Exactly. My point.
I mean, back to the original question, I mean, in my opinion, if it's something we're gonna move forward with, I think it is something we put out for proposals. I don't think we just go with one place or the other. I mean, I think it's something we need to, get the proposals back and see what company A can do as opposed to company B. There might be some different options out there we haven't thought about. I don't wanna just, tie us down to one person.
Right. Well, and when we looked at the government buying cooperatives, I can also get, I can reach out to their selected vendors, and probably get a pretty quick price from them before we go out to bid, just to get a temperature on the market. But it's completely at the board's discretion whether, we utilize the cooperative or if we go out for a bid.
Well, maybe before you did a quote-unquote survey through the newspaper or whatever, or through the other method you were talking about, we'd have a good idea of rough price end to end, what it would take to redo everything, to give people a true view, not just here's your file of stuff.
So you're talking about shirts, logoed apparel, decals, kind of big picture.
Yeah, and not a wholesale replacement all at once.
Right.
Maybe I'm sure we can transition things like you were referring to if we go down that road.
Okay. Yeah, I can absolutely check into that. I can tell you the most recent number that we got was about just for the professional services side of it, to get the deliverables of a new logo that has the website and social media, logo, branding, everything. It's about $7,500 to $9,000. So we can start with that, and then make some assumptions on overall costs, and come back to the board.
Is that all you need from us then? On that? All right. Move on to new business. We have requests to approve 2018-2019 liquor license renewals for the following businesses. Purchase Renovations, doing business as Valley Pub and Patio, Casey General Store, 2209, 2808, and 3325. Costello's Price Chopper, 325. Discount Liquor and Smokes, Dollar General, 95.97. EIE, doing business as Whiskey Tango. Great Valley Truck Stop and Food Center, doing business as Conoco Travel Center. Impact Motorsports, doing business as Valley Speedway. And Crow's Nest Saloon, doing business as Charlie's Roadhouse. Has everyone mind?
Yes, I have received all paperwork. All have, been signed off on by the police department, and I have no, outstanding documents waiting.
Okay. On these, if there's one that you would like, removed and talked about, separately, when whoever wants to make the motion can do that. So I'll entertain a motion then to approve these liquor licenses.
I say first.
Okay. Got a motion from Alderman Totten to approve all the liquor licenses mentioned. Do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman West. Any discussion?
When do you want us to possibly make a motion to pull one? Right now, or during this?
You wanna make a motion to pull one out and talk about it separately?
Well, I'd like to consider, the fact that we've got a new chief, and other, based on other discussion that we've seen tonight, at least have the conversation and move forward with that. There's no issue.
Okay.
See if we need to do any other research.
Okay.
We're hearing conflicting stories.
All right. So I have a motion from Alderman Headley then to, remove.
You have a motion and a second.
You already have to vote.
Okay, so I have to vote on that one, I can't amend it?
No.
Hold off, okay. So we'll have to vote on the first one, and then we'll pull that off if we need to.
If you need to, yes.
Okay. Any other discussion then on the motion?
Well, I'd like to say that I went down to Charlie's Roadhouse when it was their big anniversary, thinking everything would be going. And I'm sorry, I went after a meeting, and it was not that loud. The loudest thing I heard was several people talking, and I do go by and check. And I haven't heard as much, and I've got people that know I've gone out there and checked it out.
Do you go out after midnight?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And do you go out at 1, 2 in the morning?
Believe it or not,
I
the
don't.
mayor knows I go out in the middle of the night. I'm the neighborhood watch.
She does, and we've told her not to, but she does anyway.
They were quiet for a while, and then it started picking back up. And then once the license was told that it was renewed, everything's back to normal.
Well, I'll tell you something, every time, and they don't know when I'm coming. And you can even ask Whiskey Tango, I've showed up down there.
And I appreciate you doing that, but I have a video on my camera right here, if you would like to watch it, I actually have proof of it, so. And that's, midnight, 3, 8 o'clock, it's all different times.
Well,
I think it depends on when he's there, honestly.
In operation, but my serious doubt is that the police or anybody else has a problem with what we're doing. I don't think anything we're doing is illegal. I think they're taking a film of a business in operation that's not breaking the law.
The board have any additional discussion then on the motion? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
5-0, Mayor.
Huh?
5-0.
5-0, all right. All right. The next item is city charter.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, one of the items that the board has also showed consistent interest in, or at least it comes up from time to time, is the process of creating a city charter. I was going to go with a full-blown presentation tonight, but knowing the items of business, I thought that I would just streamline it, and I'm going to provide this information to everyone via email, except for you, Alderman Totten. I'll give you copies of it. But essentially, so one of the things is people want to know, what does a charter do for you? Right now, Green Valley is considered a fourth-class city, and so the state of Missouri sets the requirements that Green Valley follows. Some of those things may be how many representatives you have in each ward, how long terms are. There's just a tremendous amount of all of the governing rules that's set by the state. So when a city reaches the size of 5,000 residents or more, then they're able to adopt what's called a home rule charter. The process for doing that is that it has to be placed on the ballot, and essentially all of the residents have to be asked, shall the commission be chosen to frame a charter? So that's literally the ballot language that would go on there. You would ask the residents, do we want to switch from a fourth-class city, or look at switching from a fourth-class city to a charter? And so you'd place that question on the ballot. The only way that it can be on there is for the board to pass it. I do believe, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot here, Matt, but my understanding is this is the only time that a petition can be circulated, as that 10% of the qualified voters within the city can call for a charter.
I'm not sure. I did a
It was-
memo, are you looking at my memo from a couple of years ago on this?
This was actually MML's information.
Okay, I've done
And the
a
memo
memo
that-
on this,
yes.
it's a couple of years old, so.
Yeah.
When somebody else was asking about it, I haven't looked at it in a long
Okay.
time, but.
That's fine.
Yeah, if that's what it, I mean, if that would make sense, that 10% of the population, or whatever the voting population can have a charter commission form. And then I believe then, once you form a charter commission, the charter commission comes up with a draft of a charter that is then voted on again.
Yeah, so then you elect your charter commission, the commissioners, they draft the charter, and then the charter has to go through a subsequent, ballot issue, which is adopting the charter and picking a specific time that it's enacted. There are quite a few pros and cons, to the process of making a charter, and it's actually, it's one of those, it's something that I'm supportive of, because a charter gives the power back to the people. It allows them to create their own specific laws instead of following a boilerplate that Missouri set. It was something that the idea was come up with in 1875. Missouri was actually the first state in the United States that adopted the home rule charter option for political subdivisions. And just to give you an idea, right now we have, in the state, we have approximately 550 fourth-class cities, and then 56 third-class cities, 300 villages, and then we have constitutional charters, we have 38. I think a lot of the reason that people don't move to a charter is because it's laborsome, and it's quite a lofty task, but the benefits allow you to set up the structure of government that works for Green Valley, not for all fourth-class cities within the community, or within the state. With that being said, there is elections, there's legal, there's quite a bit of cost associated in going through the charter process. And after you select your charter commission, you have to have a charter approved and on the ballot within 1 year. So I think my recommendation, although I haven't been asked because I haven't been quiet long enough to let anybody else talk, but my recommendation would be that if the board did want to look into the charter process, that it be something that we look at for the 2019 budget cycle, because that is starting next week. So with that, I will entertain any questions.
Do you have any idea what the budget amount would need to be for next year? I mean, you're looking at an election.
We're looking at two.
Well, we already paid for that election, so.
Yeah, it's an additional question on the election, which does affect the bottom line. And if my understanding is correct, there would be two different questions. You would have the charter, and then you would have to select your commissioners as well. So I can get an idea. I can tell you, I think, for a full year's cost, probably looking at about $40,000 to $50,000 in legal fees.
Because you're looking at every time that commission meets, you're gonna need an attorney there. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I'd assume, yeah.
Yeah.
At least one.
Oh, yeah, maybe more.
Can I suggest that we maybe have a workshop on this so that we know more, we can get down into the meat of it and understand what it means and make a decision from there?
In the meantime,
Everybody would.
I agree with that.
in the meantime, I'm gonna send out some information. There's quite a bit of information to digest over this. We can set up the workshop. The first and most exhaustive piece is a publication that came out from the MML back in 2009, I believe, and it's charter home rule cities, how to form them, the history and everything, every different type of government you could set up underneath it. It's about 80 pages long, but it's a very riveting document. And I would suggest that each of you at least look at a few exhibits that I'm going to mark up in that document in preparation for that workshop.
What cities are around close that are chartered?
Blue Springs, Independence,
Lee
Lee
Summit.
Summit, I don't know, yeah, Independence, I believe
Ah.
they're charter.
Yeah.
Jackson County is a charter county.
Kansas City.
Kansas City's charter, yeah. Columbia is charter. Columbia was early charter, they were in the 50s, I believe, they became charter. So, get some more information. I also had a sheet that, you know, I was digging through here as I was talking to you, and it had pros and cons, and it was actually pretty, advantages of home rule. This is really kind of what I wanted to circulate to the board. The government, it's literally as close to the citizens as possible, because it's the Citizens Commission is actually making the charter. It allows officials to have greater flexibility. They have more choice over the government organization, how they want it run. It kind of cuts the ties, not to say there's anything bad with state legislatures, but cuts the ties with state officials, recommending what's best. You can do ward selections, or you can do at-large selections for your councilmen and women. There's a tremendous amount of benefits. The question of why so few people are so interested in it is really boils down to it's a laborsome task. So you have to be able to look at it and understand that the long-term effect is that your government would run more efficiently if it was fine-tuned for your local region than it does under the fourth-class charter rules, or the fourth-class rules.
Okay. Anything else on charter? All right. Seeing no presentations, public hearings, and now no ordinances, move on to resolutions.
This is Resolution R 18-32, a resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Green Valley, Missouri, approving the third of 3 annual payments to the Green Valley Partnership for the 3-year cooperative between the city and the Green Valley Partnership, formerly known as the Green Valley Economic Development Corporation.
Mayor, I move that we accept resolution R 18-32 as read.
I have a motion from Alderman West to approve resolution R 18-32. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Coleman. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, as it says, this is the 3rd year of the 3-year agreement between the partnership and the city. It did start out as the Green Valley Economic Development Corporation and was merged into the partnership when the Chamber and the EDC formed last year formally. One item that I want to bring up is that the annual agreement is for $35,000. We partner in support of the the partnership with the Green Valley School District and Central Jackson County Fire Protection District. With that $35,000 commitment that we have to them, there was also quite a bit of discussion throughout the year that we had one of the top donors to the partnership. If they withdrew, we all knew that the partnership was going to be need additional support. For that reason, I am going to ask if the board would be interested in amending the amount from $35,000 to $40,000, which would represent a $5,000 increase to the partnership. This would be complemented by CJC giving a commitment of $2,500 originally, and possibly the school district. But between the fire protection district and the city, we would be able to make up for the amount that was lost whenever Ward Development left the partnership group.
You need a motion?
Yes. Well, we've got a motion and a vote. Can we amend the amount? It's not in the title. Is it? Are we able to amend the amount and then vote on the current motion?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So we would just say that as amended.
I move we change the amount as amended.
Okay. I have a motion from Alderman Headley to change the amount from $35,000 to $40,000. Do I have a second on the amendment?
Second.
Second, Alderman Totten. Okay, any discussion on the amendments to add the additional 5,000? Okay. All in favor of adding the additional 5,000, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, now we're back to original motion to approve it, now being at 40,000. Any discussion on the original motion? All right, seeing none, all in favor of approving the expenditure of $40,000, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
5-0, Mayor. This is Resolution R 18-33, a resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Green Valley authorizing the city administrator to purchase a Ford F-450 dump truck for the community development maintenance fleet.
I move that we accept resolution number R 1833, as read.
I have a motion from Alderman Totten to approve resolution R 18-33. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Hicks, Alderman West. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, this is just a fleet replacement. I will let Mr. Arroyo answer any questions if you have any.
This was a truck that we had requested during budget time. One of the issues that we've had, our public works crews, a lot of our infrastructure was installed back in the late 90s, early 2000s, so we're having to make a lot of repairs, as we should, with storm lines in between property lines, behind property lines. So this vehicle was a smaller vehicle than the Internationals, and it allowed us to install a lot of that riprap and soil and gravel to get in between those properties. We're creating a lot of damage to the property just because we're having to use a larger truck. So that's what this request was for. The vehicle itself will have the outfitting for future, if we choose to do so, snow plows. We can actually use this truck for that with this cul-de-sacs, but then we are purchasing it today. And just the outfitting for it, but it will include the spreader and the
Any additional questions? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
5-0, Mayor. This is Resolution R 18-34, a resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Green Valley authorizing the use of Jackson County's 2018 pavement maintenance Phase 1-3 contract for the city's 2018 street maintenance.
I move that we accept resolution number R 1834, as read.
I have a motion from Alderman Totten to approve resolution R 18-34. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Coleman. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, this is the annual overlay program that we do. I'm going to let Mr. Arroyo recap the project this year.
These are for our CIP for this year. This is a project that we worked with Jackson County, I think since 2011. We have benefited from their economy of scale for the projects that they have when they did this asphalt work out. So we've had really good luck working with them in their contract. So for this year, most of the roads are in the Farmington Acres subdivision area, but this will also include downtown Kirby Road and part of that downtown project that we had started a couple years back in terms of just the overlay maintenance. But it includes their striking contract as well. All the warranties that Jackson County has given will also be extended to the city as well.
Anyone have any questions or discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
5-0, Mayor.
All right. Next up, city attorney's report.
No report.
Next up, city administrator and staff report.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we will start with Mr. Arroyo.
Just wanted to remind everybody that our Public Works Week event, or our Public Works event is actually this Thursday. Starts at 5, and we're going to have, it goes till 7 p.m. We're going to have free hot dogs, we're going to have a game, and we're going to have pop movies, pizza, snow, shaved ice there, so it's all free for everybody.
and 98-degree temperatures, so. I every year.
No, last year we had rain.
Oh, last year rain.
And we had to reschedule.
Yeah.
That's why we had snowies.
Sure need it.
Snowy's out there and we'll have a big cooling fan.
All right, I just have a few things. First, I wanted to pass along an email that was received, Teresa actually received it, and she forwarded it to us. It was from a resident, Bobby Randall. They just wanted to send it to say that they were delighted with the OATS program in Green Valley. She wanted the mayor and board to know that it has been a lifesaver for her, as she had no other mode of transportation. She was extremely complimentary of Winston, which is the driver, and was shocked by the affordability of the rides, and she wanted you all to know how much she appreciated your efforts. So congratulations on that.
Nice lady.
Yes. Also, I was going to talk about pictures on July 9th at 6 p.m., but ran into Alderman Coleman earlier at Price Chopper and found out that July 9th doesn't work. So we're going to have Sarah circulate a doodle poll. It's going to have we'll do 2 or 3 dates. Let's say Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday over the next 6 weeks. And if you guys can just plug in your availability, and we'll...
Is it just a group picture?
Yes.
Can't we just take them individually and glue us all together?
So it's gonna be a
It's the
group.
group pictures that holds it up.
It's gonna be a group, and Alderman Stratton and probably Interim Chief Beal over there,
All
so we
right.
can have the photos be more streamlined on the website.
Yeah. Which brings me to my final thing that I wanted to say is that if you're available Monday at 10 a.m., which is July 2nd, we're going to have a all city staff and elected officials photo op for the mayor's State of the City presentation this year. So if you're able to be here at 10 o'clock, I would just ask you to show up and come get your picture taken with us so we can include you in the presentation. And I said that was my final one, but there was one last thing. I just wanted to congratulate Chief Beal on the interim appointment. Very pleased to have you serve with us, and look forward to working with you over the next several months. Nothing else, Mr. Mayor.
Can we get some emails regarding these dates and times and?
Sarah, emails, did you send the email out regarding the Monday picture, the group picture?
I did.
Okay. So, when was that out?
It was, last Thursday when I saw the upcoming event.
Okay, so she'll send a reminder this Thursday on upcoming events, and then we'll send each alderman the doodle poll, the direct link, in the next several days.
I mentioned both photos and the body of the email as well as on the calendar.
Okay. Next up is Board of Alderman reports and comments. Alderman Stratton.
Nothing to report.
Alderman Totten.
Well, today was a wonderful day. I got to see our public works at work, and I want y'all to know, we have a hole that's appearing, and my dog went a little bit, his feet into it, but I got her out. And the funny thing about it is, I got to see the brand new camera go down into the hole and see what was down there. And boy, is there stuff down in there. It's water and stuff. I'm sorry, guys, but I want you to know our money's going to good cars.
Was it the sewer camera?
Huh?
Was it the sewer camera?
No, it was.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the sewer camera. Yeah, you'll see some stuff.
Oh, no. It was pretty neat, though. I felt very proud to get to see it all.
Anything else?
That's it.
All
No.
right.
And then we got
Alderman-
good guys working.
Alderman Coleman.
Yes, I do have some. I'm going to put you to work now that you're in that position, and I'm glad to see you there too. Congratulations. I'm hearing a lot of information in my area in Rosewood about still having the issues with people speeding down Hedgewood. We have the speed hump there on the east side, but once they get past that, there's a long stretch clear over to Dillingham. So if we can either get another speed hump closer to,
So where's the speed hump at now? Is it the same place it was? I don't know.
It's,
We had it last year too, didn't we?
Yeah.
not a,
There's one on Nelson, but where's the,
there's one on Hedgewood
Yeah.
about,
Is there four-way stops on Hedgewood too?
oh, yeah. I'm sorry, say that one.
Say we have one still available this year, but there's an application for that one.
Okay.
That we're probably gonna put out after that, we don't have a month to add a second one right now.
So, the latest was we have some, dirt bikes that are racing down the road, and there is still an issue where people are going faster than 25 down Hedgewood, because I have seen that. So if there's any way we could get, some additional patrol down there, I know that we're limited, but whatever we can do, it would be appreciated.
well, we got some HMB money, so we can assign that specific area. We didn't just specific time of day.
It's gonna happen mainly when people are coming back home from work, or when they're going to work. So,
We can assign somebody.
I appreciate that, thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Alderman Headley?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. Alderman West?
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
Next up, Mayor's report, and I don't have anything additional. We do not have any for executive session tonight, do we?
no need for executive session,
All right,
Mr.
no
Mayor.
need for an executive session unless anyone has anything for a regular session. All right, seeing none, we will adjourn.